Hey y'all, it is that time of month. That's right, it is time for the Billionaire Business Builders Book Club, the time of the month where you and I get to sit down and have a conversation about what books we're reading. Because my belief is that every single person out there who is doing something great, they are out there learning. And one of the best and easiest ways for us to be learning constantly is to be reading. So I am constantly encouraging other people to get out there and read. And I believe this, if you're like me, if you're trying to build $1 billion business, which come on, that's the point of this whole book club, is that if you're trying to build $1 billion business, you better be out there learning, because I guarantee that you don't know everything you need right now to be running $1 billion business. If you did, you would be. So this month's book is, I think, particularly fitting, especially this time of year as everyone is trying to get in shape. And by in shape, I don't mean in shape physically, I mean in shape financially. So a lot of people are out there trying to get themselves in shape financially this time of year, as well as getting themselves in shape physically. And I want to talk about this financial side. And the book I chose to talk to you guys about is this one. It's Simple Numbers, Straight Talk, Big Profits. Now, I loved reading this book because, first of all, the author is fantastic. So you guys know me, like I'm all about, hey, let's call out the crap, and let's like, if you're messing around, if you're lying to yourself, call yourself out on it, right? And same thing, if I'm lying to myself, y'all call me out, and vice versa, because you know I'm going to do the same to you. And what I love about this book is that's what this guy does too. Like, he doesn't have a problem. He doesn't pull his punches. He's like, hey, a lot of business owners are doing this, and here's why that's stupid. And it's awesome because it's easy to read. So I'm totally not a numbers person. I have struggled with ADD, and I've never been diagnosed with dyslexia, but I have a hard time sometimes. So numbers and I have never, ever gotten along, like, at all. And when I got into business, suddenly I had to like start paying attention to these things, like, you know, what's this freaking thing called a P&L and a balance sheet, and like, oh my gosh, there's so much time that gets spent looking at numbers. And it's actually been really good for me. But as I've gotten better with these numbers, what I've learned is I'm still not great with them, and there's still a whole lot I need to learn. And that's kind of where this comes in, especially because just because you can run the numbers doesn't mean you necessarily are any good with accounting. And most of the time what I've found is that if you're really good, like entrepreneur, like let's go grow, then most of the time those people are not great with the numbers in accounting. I usually encourage everyone out there to have somebody who's going to be that fiscally responsible person for their business. Have a CPA, get maybe a CFO for hire. Like I've got a couples where one person's the like entrepreneur who's out there running the business. And the other one is the CFO, the person who comes in and says, hey, what the heck happened with this P&L? And why it says you should have X amount of cash in the bank and you don't. What happened? And so that is where I get excited, because we're not really good at that necessarily as business owners, but this book makes it easy to understand a lot more of what you should and shouldn't be doing. He breaks down from the very get-go salary, and he just like goes straight into it. He's like, hey, look, everybody does the salary thing wrong, so here's what you're screwing up, right? So he talks about salary, he talks about what is a good profit margin, and how to calculate gross profit, net profit, all that stuff. So I still know a lot of people who get very confused over gross versus net, and trust me, I totally get it, because there were several years there where I'd be like, is that your gross or your net? And then I would listen for whatever they would say in hopes that would clue me into like what that actually meant. Now I actually know, but this guy makes it really easy. He talks about what profit margins you should have, labor productivity, and this thing called labor creep, which a lot of us end up experiencing and can cause a lot of problems for us. Talks about the 4 forces of cash flow, and really breaks down why cash flow is so important and how much you should have in cash reserves and why. And like, to me, I was like, oh, that's awesome. The next thing he goes into is all about taxes and maximizing productivity. The 14-year overnight success. Oh my gosh, that was I love that. Skip the budget, learn to forecast. Like, this was, look, if numbers and the numbers of your business are still a little bit fuzzy to you, if you can't look at a P&L and start to pick out where the problems are occurring in that business, if you look at a balance sheet and don't understand it, if you look at a cash flow statement and don't understand it, if you look at a P&L and don't understand it, get yourself a copy of this book, because I guarantee you can't grow your business past the point where you can understand it. And the numbers are how you're going to grow. We all need cash and income to grow our businesses. And if you don't have it available to you, you have to go get a loan somewhere. Well, what ramifications does that have in your business? And otherwise, how do you avoid having to get that loan? And there are times when you do need to actually get a loan, but I can tell you this: 9 times out of 10, when a client comes to me and says, hey, I'm going to go get a loan, they don't really need to go get a loan. They really just need to, get their cash flow in order, and that will save them a lot of struggle. So I will drop the link below for you guys. It is an awesome, awesome book. Have an absolute blast with it. It is not hard to read. He keeps it very simple, very easy. So please don't be intimidated. Trust me, if ADHD, partially dyslexic chick over here can read it, you can too. Have a blast at it. Go out there, make it an awesome month.